we got to do some Schools First Financial Corner. We are technically in the corner. A lot of times we talk over there by the big board, but now we're literally in the corner, and we have a lot of room here. Scott's off, today, but hopefully we'll be back tomorrow.
It's okay to put Travis in the corner.
Yeah,
like baby.
So it's okay to put we're putting Travis in the corner. That's what we're doing. But what we're really doing is we're talking about, we want to save more, we want to spend less, and we want to get out of debt or pay down some of that debt. We all want to do that, but that's a hard thing to do, right?
No, most definitely. And, when you think about it, a lot of doom and gloom going on right now with inflation and other things. And a lot of people say, should I pull back on that savings? And the answer is no, absolutely not. It definitely is more challenging right now to save, but it is doable, even if it means adjusting our goals a little. And the one thing we need to maintain is it is extremely important that we focus on savings.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, only 4 out of 10 American adults have at least $1,000 set aside for unexpected expenses. So if you ran into an emergency and didn't have that savings, you're going to rely on a credit card. And
most people do, right?
Don't we all?
Yeah.
And if that credit card, say, is 16%, it's going to take you 9 years to pay that off.
Right.
And keep in mind, you're going to pay nearly $800 in interest over that life of the loan, just paying the minimum. And so with that said, it is imperative that we focus on saving. Even $5 a month adds up over time. And so there isn't any amount that is too little to start saving.
All right, so you were saying like 9 years to just pay off that $1,000.
Scary when you think about it.
That's wild. All right, so I guess the big question is, then how do we save, more money if we're not increasing our income?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, ideally, what we want to look at is a secondary goal, and that is spending less. If we are in a position where we can't increase our income, then reducing our expenses is a great way to create additional cash flow that we can apply to our savings plans or debt goals. The first thing we need to do is understand our expenses and create a budget. First, keep it simple. Just start with how much money am I bringing in, and then what are my necessary expenses? That's your food, your housing, gas, and other loan payments. But then we want to take a look at what am I spending on things I don't necessarily use? Because reducing spending on necessary things is really the quickest way to make the biggest impact on your budget.
So you say unnecessary. I'm thinking you're talking about like my Dutch Bros or something like that as I'm coming in. I just got hooked, and now it's like, man, I want to get one of those. But really, we don't have to get one of those. I think we can kind of train ourselves so we don't need to do that. And also like DoorDash and all those things, people bring it to us. We just get off the couch and get it ourselves.
Most definitely. So that's a great point. And it all depends on what your goals are. Once you start looking at where your money's going, a lot of those unnecessary expenses will kind of show themselves. Am I eating out too much? Should I scale that back? I think what we're guilty of is all those streaming services. I have them all for my kids.
Yeah.
Are we really using them, or can we cut them off? But some of these expenses are harder to see. Like you mentioned, the biggest trend right now is grocery and food deliveries.
Yeah.
And a lot of those costs are built in. And in fact, 44% of Americans use grocery and food deliveries, spending nearly $900 a year. So if you are able to pick up your groceries or your food, that's $900 more in the bank. Other fees are banking. Take a look at your bank statement. Are you paying overdraft fees, ATM fees, even banking service fees? All those fees add up to, if you're spending $25 a month, that's another $300 you can save.
Yeah, they always seem to slide some of those fees in there, those hidden fees, and like if you're not paying attention over a couple, 2, 3, 4, 5 months or so, you decide to look at your cards like, what happened? I've been charged all that.
Exactly.
So I like that.
Definitely adds up.
Talking about the credit cards again, cutting those credit card debts. I mean, that's one thing we really got to do is get the credit card debt down. Right?
Most definitely. Ideally, we want to pay off our credit cards in full each month, but we know that's not realistic. So if that is not a viable option for you, paying down your balances needs to be that priority. And a lot of that, when I say that, a lot of people think don't use credit cards at all.
Yeah.
And actually, ironically, if you don't use credit, it negatively will impact your credit score. And we know how important it is to have that good credit score to get the lower rates, pay the lower interest, save money over time. So you do want to be cognizant of your kind of credit behaviors. You want to use credit, but maintain under that 30% usage. Make all your payments on time and keep that balance low. If you do find yourself with a lot of debt, create kind of that plan with your budget. How much extra can I apply on top of the minimum payment?
Sure.
But keep in mind, you don't want to pay down on the cards, because the last thing you want is to go back and rely on those credit cards to make ends meet.
Yeah, you just don't want to do that. Yep, love it. Love everything you said except for the fact I can't get my coffee in the morning. I didn't like that part, but there you go, because I'm hooked. Travis, thanks again so much. There you go. Over 70 locations. We'll say that pretty soon it's going to be over 80 locations. They're just all over the place. It's Schools First Financial. Go check out these guys. They obviously know exactly what they're talking about. Every time they come on each week and talk to Scott and I, we learn so much, about debt and about, the way that we can invest and all that good kind of stuff.